Now we're live on YouTube. We're late. We're late, so I'm missing like 500 viewers. Have you guys seen those 500 viewers that are usually always here? Can you guys go get them for me, please? There we go. Now that loaded. Okay, there. Everybody's loaded. Did I unplug myself? No, I didn't. Sometimes I step on this cable and I unplug myself. That's why I hang it off of this light. This is my third light source. Light is very important for webcams because they suck out loud at actually getting an image. They've got very small sensors in them. And that little tiny sensor can really benefit from a plethora of light. So you get as many light sources as you can. 3 is the minimum number, and that's kind of what I try to maintain on the things that I have. One is a face light, the other's the desk light, which is inevitable, and then there's this extra throw light. Typically, with a streaming setup, you may also have a light somewhere behind you that highlights your hair just a little bit. I don't do that. I don't do that. I don't have that. I kind of have that. I have my background as my co-host, but yeah. So anyway, all the modules are in. They still need to be, some of them still need to be tested. Crimes, I still need to put the new Arduino in it and get the DAC. It's currently, this thing has no way to make sound. And then, let's see, Sheeps probably needs to be turned back into tides because I think that may be a better use because all of this stuff down here is all like LFO, not just LFO, but I mean, it's like, this is like twiddling the knobs, all of this stuff. And this stuff is creating audio. This is twiddling knobs. This is an ADSR. That's fading in and out the audio levels. And then we have filters. And then this is the final mixer for the headphone. Take a bandsaw and cut it out. I don't have a bandsaw. All right. Let's see, what do we got going on here? I have not eaten lunch. I have not eaten anything. So technically, my stomach should allow me to talk to you guys like I normally do without hiccuping all the time. All right, I gotta move. That's what I was doing. I gotta move this. I gotta move this. What else didn't I do for stream? I think I've done everything now. And, oh, I need the YouTube chat. That's what I haven't done. I figured it out. I know what I haven't done. That one has lawn dog chatting, so let's clean that out. I don't like that I have to remove source. I think maybe if I update the program, it'll probably do that because it's really annoying to have to do. But all right, there we go. So now all the chats are united under one roof and they can have a brawl, and then YouTube will ban me and Twitch will ban me for having mixed chat. I didn't know we were segregating Twitch. Twitch believes that its curated Twitch experience is harmed, is harmed by having both chats speaking at the same time in the same place, unmarked. Twitch has some weird ideas. They kind of miss the mark in many ways, many different ways. Look at the heat on a belly. Please don't. My endocrinologist appointment was just before stream. That's why I'm late today. And I got a good bill of health. Apparently things are looking very good, like monumentally good. So I have a couple filters that I want to build for this. To build the filters, I would like to use the manual pick and place. I'm having trouble with the camera today. The manual pick and place, I have been designing some parts for. We need to do a hashtag AutoCAD ad again so I can design some more parts for this. I think I can make that swing out arm be sort of our own thing and be very useful for us. Twitch has retired the combined chat earlier this year. We have a clip of Dan Clancy himself finally doing something good. Thank fuck. And retiring that rule. Like, what were they thinking? You know? I want to like throttle the man. Not like, I mean, just like gently choke him. Right? Yeah, it would be fun. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. We'll have a good time. But anyway, how many viewers would I get for that? What a stupid ass rule. Like, what are they thinking? For those that don't know, Twitch has limited or used to punish you for having both chats on the screen at the same time. You had to separate them into like two columns like Hassan does, right? It was literally like Hassan does this, so you have to do this. Why can't I combine? There's tons of apps that combine them in the same thing, and I don't think anybody's confused about who's who. Stupid. It was just such a dumb rule. So I'm very glad that he reversed it. I'm just wondering what systems are in place to have that rule go into effect and then actually get streamers banned, because it's really dumb. It's really, really quite dumb. What justification do they have? Anyway, pick and place, manual pick and place. There's a bunch of airline stuff that's next to that, so that my Hitachi, my magical Hitachi may be able to give us air-powered pick and place using these little Venturi vacuum things. So we have to do a day where we play with airline stuff. And then we also have to do a designing stream where we actually design the roller skate bearing things that'll use a 2020 frame rail instead like the thing we're copying has like a big bar. We're not going to do that. We're going to use skateboard bearings and 2020 rail and hope to get that sturdy enough on 3D prints to actually enable it to hover above and not flex in the y-axis, so that we can have something that resists gravity that we can lower and raise with a little suction thing on it. Yeah, there were a couple, maybe not prominent streamers, but they actually did get banned for having dual chats, which is like, go touch grass. Like, go get a life. What is wrong with you? Good to health. Now let's go cheeseburgers and beer. I am actually going to go to the alcohol store after stream. That is, in fact, my next stop after we're done streaming. We're going to stream a little later, though. All right, this is just a mechanical bar, and then this is this giant circuit board. And then we got to address that screen later. But with any luck, after today, I'll have a 505. Although we do have a lot of work to do, so we may need to get to work. I need to get these... Oh god, my mic cable's all caught up in it. I have to remember where all the screws went. Oh no. I was not ready for today. Whew, okay. Yeah, let's get started. We got too much work to do. Too much to do, too many parts sitting in this thing. Let me get the music out of here. There's a good mix. Okay, hi. I'm disheveled. I didn't sleep last night. I've got a good bill of health though. I went to a telehealth appointment, so we're a little late today, but the job we have today is easy. We ordered about 250 million parts from a German synthesizer repair shop, or repair thing website. I don't know. A lot of money went to a shady place. Germans aren't shady. They never do shady things. Anyway, I got the parts in the mail. It turns out some of the stuff was not what I thought it was. Misleading thumbnails, I guess, maybe being what they are, but they're probably pretty equivalent. They're probably the same thing. They probably have the same feel. So we're going to use them anyway. I could have saved myself a lot of time, aggravation, and money by probably sourcing these from not AliExpress, but one of the other suppliers that we found that day looking around. This one, I thought I would be getting the exact part that was needed, but it's completely and utterly discontinued. And in fact, the replacement part, the Panasonic replacement part, Short Lurker, by the way, Short Lurker, this is all Short Lurker doing this research. He has done a wonderful, I don't know why he's doing this, but it's absolutely amazing when viewers and, well, Short Lurker's a friend, viewers or friends, like, go that extra mile. I didn't need him to do this. I didn't really need anybody to do that, but he got all this information. There's two parts. One is an Alps part for that very light touch keyboard switch, and the other one is a Panasonic part for the very light rubbery key touch switch for the keyboard on the 505. The Panasonic part is what I got. The Alps part is what was in the thumbnail, and it turns out the Panasonic part was just recently discontinued, as in a couple years, like 2021 or something like that, which means, well, that probably bird on the easy to find cheap 505s because they're no longer as repairable. But again, boutique synthesizer shop had the parts, or I could have gone through AliExpress knowing that I would be getting these parts. Let me look at the parts. They're actually just over on the other desk. We identified all kinds of stuff that was wrong with the keypad, which is really cool because that means that this thing died a warrior's death. It's the same thing that's in the description on the YouTube. This thing died from use and or sitting around, but I think the main dead buttons are all in areas of high traffic, which I think is amazing. I think that's really cool. We also discovered that the power coming from that little power brick that I bought, the USB-C power brick, was dirty. It was dirty, dirty, dirty. So I got like a nice, we're not really gonna need the oscilloscope today, but I got like the nice accidentally sent power supply brick, and I put the scope on that, and then that cleaned up the scope. Wheezy peasy. What do we got here? 3 streams. That's the second 3-stream streak today. That's monumental. I appreciate you guys. Those alerts are fun. I don't know about stream streak though, because I was watching Rob Oz and it went, hey, oh bother. And I'm like, oops. I'm like, it's like, yeah, oh bother. I'm like, well, what do you want? I'm just watching Rob Oz. Like, you have 150 stream watch streak. Do you want to announce it in chat? And I'm like, that makes me sad. No, that's sad. That's not something I should brag about. Why would I brag about that? What's wrong with you? So let's double check here. I should have enough of these to replace all of the dead keyboard pins, and I'm seeing, did I miscalculate? This does not all of my buttons. This does not into all of my buttons. Did I order the wrong amount? Oh no, they're not keyed. Never mind. They're not spaced the same way. Okay, we can replace these. So these are the ones I got. Where are we? SW9. Is it here? That's here. Okay. These are the ones that I got. They're a little bit more square. They still have the rubbly button, but the ones that are on here have a much more rounded surround to the thing. But none of these work, and the ones that I have do work, so we're going to replace them. I didn't even know it keeps track of me popping in, but I guess I wouldn't be surprised. If you want to see your streaks, all you need to do is expand your the sidebar thing that tells you who's streaming, and it'll, in yellow text, it'll tell you what your streaks are. You're streaking. Yeah, I wonder if these, because these are 1998 LEDs, I wonder if these will blow up if we give them 9 volts, if they'll actually properly snap, instead of the new epoxy formulation that doesn't blow up, sadly. All right, so let me pull up the list of stuff that's wrong. There's an image on the desktop. I think at this point with 3 screens, the best thing to do is to just open up a folder and look at your desktop that way. These are the kinds of things that get lost to Windows users. Let's see. Lychee, social stream, under construct. No, that's not it. Did I put it? Oh, you know what? It's in its own folder. I've been remiss in using the file server. I need to get the permissions fixed, the Windows SMB shares fixed on this thing. I've had a folder on the desktop called Stream Project that I've been working in. So where did I put that? Automaton. Test for Moog. Unless there's like there's M303. Is it M303 folder? No. That's all of my reverse engineering of the M303. We still have some stuff to do on that. Okay, I don't know where I saved it. I was just trying to make a music mix. I thought I'd pop in to see what you're playing with on the bench. That's a 505. I love these things, kind of. Hold on one sec. I'm looking for MS Paint. I need to know what to replace, and we're not doing a full test again. I don't think I called it No, I didn't. That was Benji. Don't tell me I lost the file. Oh, no. Oh, no. No, 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 no. I may have lost the file. Code 10 keyless, thermal mask. I thought I remember saving it onto the desktop. I said, we got to save this just in case. I'll pull up the VOD if I have to. Is the Ben Gizmo share. Oh, here we go. Why didn't I see that in the other desktop thing? Thank fuck. Okay, these are all the switches that have died. It's like all of them. I think the switches that I got came in a pack because I think I've got way too many. How many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 34. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 20, 23. 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 31, 34. And then we've got like 5 extra. Okay, cool. All right. Well, hopefully these have the same feel as the... They seem about the same. Is that the looper? It's called a groovebox, but yeah, I mean, I guess it's a looper. And I can probably hook it up to the synthesizer with MIDI or have audio come out and go into maybe a filter or something. But interfacing it with MIDI would probably be the better way to go because then I can turn that into a CV. And then this can also fill in some other stuff because it's a groovebox. I can have it do drums and a couple like bass line and stuff like that while the synthesizer can take control of everything else. It's just kind of like a little helper. And back when me and my friends wanted to make electronic music and we pooled up a bunch of our money, we got an mc-505. He also had like a 909, like a sampler, which I'm not getting. I'm not going to get. I've wanted to learn how to use the 505, and maybe it can supplement talent, and maybe I'll finally be popular. This is like a different encoder, it seems, with the same end. And it looks like this is an adapter board for it. I see. Because this has 4 big prominent pins, and this has 3 surface mount pins. Interesting. That's going to be an interesting one to replace. The encoder is so terribly fucked. This thing is completely bad. Oh, sorry, cursing. Enjoyed spending time with one of our artists from the record label who used that boy. It's a really fun doodad. I hope it is. I hope it can display my natural talent. help make me seem talented, maybe. Now, okay, do I want to use the motorized solder sucker? I don't think I want to. I don't think I want to use the motorized solder sucker. I think we're going to get rid of these guys first, the greasy keyboard buttons. But that, like, every button that I had circled and all of the keyboard buttons except for the tap have been ravaged. They're just dead. And the only thing that I could think that would cause that would be use, but why would all of your keyboard buttons break? Maybe somebody spilled something on it, or maybe it just sat for a long time. Because it's like, I don't know how many people are still using these doodads. I don't know how many people are still actually playing with the 505. It's notorious for being a little bit too menu divey, because it's really only got like a character LCD that's like this big. And so you've got to like go through the menu and go through this menu and that menu and that menu. So I think you're going to have a lot of fun. Thank you, Wheezy Peasy. I've had too much good news today. Can somebody like share something depressing in chat? Because my endocrinologist appointment went like really well, which is like a clean bill of health kind of well. And it's, you know, it's just not, it's not being sensitive to my needs of being miserable all the time. Okay, so we are going through and we are getting these 2 middle pads, which have a rubbly button right below them. Unfortunately, when this thing was assembled, what's up, Dutch Mania? That's a good name. And Madame U has had a stroke. Well, rest in peace, Madame U. We'll remember them well. We should have seen the signs earlier. They came in and they just were saying stuff and we didn't really understand. Speaking in tongues. And, you know, I don't think they survived. Oh, wait, what is that? It's something Y-A wow. Oi, who's you? It's like Japanese characters. Wow, there's a big delay. That's a big delay. There's like Japanese characters, and apparently it auto-translated into over here. I don't know what that is. Is it Japanese? It's something. It's something. I don't know what it is. Anyway, how's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Okay, so what they did when they installed all these parts is in order to have somebody, either somebody come and solder them or a wave table actually have like a wave of solder go across the entire PCB. It's likely how they did it. That's how through-hole is done. There's literally a wave, it's like at the park when you go to the water park and everybody goes to the artificial wave pool. That's exactly what it is, but it's 600-degree solder, which is crazy. But that's how they did mass through-hole assembly. And so the wave is calibrated to just barely kiss the entire bottom of the circuit board as it goes by and solder all of the through-hole stuff at once. It's well, not in a wave. It's crazy technology. It seems so incredibly like unsafe. It's like something like Mordor would come up with in order to solder a bunch of electronics, but that's how they did it. And so in prep for that, the components go through, and I think they bent the leads to the sides so that it would stick in there better. And so with the leads bent to the sides, I can't do what I normally do with through-hole, which is just heat it up and let it fall out. I have to get a little bit more creative with this. So let's focus the arm in. So this is like solder rework 101. The solder's very old, but it was leaded because it was made in 1998. So we're going to use the mid-size tip. I'm not going to go with the giant tip on this because I don't want to stress out the solder mask or the adhesion of the copper to the main board. When we did this before, I had to kind of bend leads. So I had to get a little physical with it and bend the leads a little bit in order for the component to drop out. Now the component that I'm removing is totally in 100 completely dead. 100% completely dead. So we're going to go down the line and remove as many of these as possible. I'm going to use the manual solder sucker. The auto sucker might have been a good idea for this, but I do have to get kind of like manhandle the pins. And if we can, I would like to get an overhead view of this with the microscope so it's a little pleasing for you guys. In some places, it might be that the solder has crystallized a little bit and hardened. And in the event of that, it helps to add just a little dollop of your own solder. It'll create an alloy out of all the different weird-ass metals that you've added to the thing, and the rosin core solder will add a flux component just barely to that. I am not Louis Rossmann. This thing is not going into an ultrasonic bath when it's done. I don't want to get flux absolutely everywhere. I'm not drinking this stuff. I'm not Louis Rossmann. I'm not doing as many beneficial things to the right to repair, and I should be. I should be Louis Rossmann. I have his air soldering iron. That was very well timed, thank you. That was Wheezy Peasy joining in on the conversation. They have control of that sort of thing over here on Twitch. You may not know, YouTube. It's scary over here. I love Roland gear. I heard that this was made by a crazy Japanese man, and the design is completely batshit insane. And we've run into a little bit of that. Not completely, but we have run into a little bit of like, wow, this is weird. What's up? How's it going, Mahalo? We were using the Mahalo Scent electric screwdriver yesterday. No ultrasound, huh? Whoa, what? All right, trying to get light over here so that you guys can just see what I'm doing. This is through-hole. Welcome to through-hole hell. I've already started cursing. I don't know if the YouTube algorithm is going to like try to get me with a space laser or not. It looks like only one of the leads here is bent, so we might actually benefit. And oh, that flowed nicely. That actually immediately capitulated. And again, this is why we're using this iron, is because I can get a little bit more heat in there fasterly. That one appears to be kind of in the middle. Hopefully it is. And then let's just add just a little tiny bit of extra. Yay, I farted. Yes, sir, indeed. I'm going to put a little bit of my own solder on both of these, and then we'll use the suck, and we'll see if that works. What's going on there? Why are those weird? So these are the keyboard switches. These are the rubber dome buttons that make up the keyboard. All of the switches on the keyboard are simultaneously dead, which doesn't really speak to me of a warrior's death. I think, well, I mean, but what else could it be if some buttons work and some don't? But it's not like the whole keyboard should die. There should be some survivors in the keyboard. So now I guess the best thing for me to do is to get my tweezers and to kind of wedge under. No, yeah, no ultrasonic cleaner, yeah. I don't want to stress too many of these parts out. This is a big circuit board. I have no real good way to hold this thing down. And there's our part. Did it fall? Yeah, it fell. Dead switch. We'll open one of these up in a minute. I got to get through a bunch of these. So before I even take the first part out, I'm going to keep the dead ones in a pile, in their own pile. A pile of your own. So the next one is here. So let's add a little bit of solder to it. Bend the leads. Bob's your uncle. I've been meaning to tell you that, by the way. It's you were adopted by your... Those aren't your parents. Bob is actually your uncle now. Sorry I had to be the bearer of bad news. Bob's a nice guy, though. See, the problem is I don't have much control when I push leads on with the soldering iron, and I really want to get those to stand straight up like a pair of pliers would. A coward dies 1,000 deaths, a soldier dies but one. Okay. How does that apply to a synthesizer? Why am I slipping all over the place? There you go. I'm tripping. We need more light. Open that up a little bit. Yep. Trying to get a good view of things. It's going to be a lot of excess solder here because through hole is very wasteful. I don't know if these are plated on the other side. I think they are, which means I should hold heat on them for a little bit. Wait, which leads did I undo? Oh, that was the diode's lead. Whoops. Sorry, diode. It's actually these two. This is the diode. Sorry, diode. Continue on what you were doing. You've been doing a nice job. Please don't explode, glass diode. I didn't mean to do anything to you. Here, have all this solder back. I'm so sorry. Have a nice day. This is the one that I want. Ooh, ooh, ooh. We should add a little solder to that. Just a little bit. Make it shiny. The auto solder sucker isn't as temperature controlled. It's a cheaper tool than my regular iron, and I think it might stress out the copper layer and possibly lift pads, because that's what it does. It's like this massive heat source. So welcome to what we're doing today. Nothing special. What I'm trying to do is bend that lead a little bit, because you can see right there, there's a little glint right there, and I think that is surface tension holding the solder to the via. We don't want none of that. That surface tension is notoriously difficult to remove. I wonder if I can get in there with a pin tool and just go like that and then actually move the component. Is that working? Hold on. I don't want to flex this board too much. I think that can lead to issues. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's good. Wait, we've got a new method here. So I'm going to come in with a hook and I'm going to twist it 90 degrees, and then I can push down on the body of the switch and actually not need to use the solder sucker at all, just as long as those leads are bent properly. They did not design it this way, but this is a huge advantage. It's a huge time-saving thing, too. Well, as long as I can actually twist this thing and get contact with a component. Looks like it's kind of hard to do. There we go. I'm in. I think I still need to do the solder sucker because I may lift a pad on the other side. That might lift a pad on the other side, and I don't want that. So let's add solder, suck the solder, then I can use the box. The juice kids suck. Life. Kids suck the box. Drink. Bruce Lee. It's an Underworld song. You'll never guess the title. It's called Bruce Lee. The kids sing of the life. Suck the box, drink. Yeah, Bruce Lee. Tan blonde. Well, I didn't really like that one. That seemed to distort the pad a little bit. Don't like it. I'm gonna live with it. Got a lot to go. Basically, wherever there's one of these, I need to remove the thing. Oh god, the capacitors on the board are catching. I'm gonna see if I can do this without removing this top board. That means we're gonna have to get a little creative on some of the switches that we need to replace. This is a work stream. We're working today. Like there's nothing fantastical and flashy about what we're doing today. This is just a lot of repetitious solder rework until we can finally do a button test on this thing. What are y'all up to? Okay, and then some of this. That didn't go too well. Mainly because I don't have anything holding the workpiece. It's very annoying to not have something holding the workpiece, but I guess I'm gonna have to live with it. Okay, and then specialty push tool. I should have a GIF of somebody jingling keys below this. There we go. That one went pretty easy. Next. One sec. Actually, I don't know if that's actually going to import properly into OBS. You know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to... I would... Let's just see what it does. What will you do if I... Oh, it's in a special thing. Stupid. Never mind. I was gonna put the jingling keys GIF on there, but I'll have to find something on my own. All right, back to soldering. You and you. I have done so much solder sucking with this Engineer SSO 2 and 3 that my thumb muscles, I can crush diamonds with my thumbs. If I ever do the thumb thing to somebody, their head's going to explode like in Scanners. Because my thumb muscles are crazy because of the amount that I've used them to do this. To suck. Why is electronics rework so expensive? All I'm doing is replacing about 70 buttons. 70 or so buttons. What is my time to you? What do I look like I'm made out of? Time? Synthesizer noises follow. I appreciate you guys joining me. It's nice to have a chat going and to bring you guys through the journey of repairing stuff. The modular synth doesn't look as good as I'd like it to. Like that slate vinyl, like it looks good, but it's not, I don't know. I don't know. What I can do is hold the pin with the stainless steel pin tool. I can push on it and heat it up with the iron and then keep it in the middle so that it doesn't form that surface tension that kind of ruins our day. Next. So let's try that. So I take a little bit of the new sauce, I add it to the old sauce, you let it simmer. Oh, good. And then I can take the solder sucker for my aluminum. It's actually aluminum. The French coined it. And then we all bastardized it. And then the Brits came up with aluminum, as per usual, same deal with soccer. And then they decided that they would call it something else. And they added a consonant to it. So technically we should all be saying aluminum. Is it a consonant? I think I got that wrong. It's a vowel. No, get off of that. Oh no, there's so much of it that it's... I need to do another suck session. Oh, that's that TV show everybody's talking about, right? Suck session? Everybody's watching that suck session show. Or did it end? Did the suck session end? I don't know what the big deal is about a suck session. I mean, I've seen plenty of those on the internet. Well, I gotta watch this particular one is beyond me. This one is kind of in an annoying place. I wonder if I could just force the issue and heat this one up, because I don't want to damage any of this stuff. It's not like it's hard for me to jump that if I break it, but I don't want to put this thing through any more stress. It's led a hard life. All of its buttons are dead. There we go. What in the hell's going on there? That didn't come out completely. There it goes. Okay, next. Oh, that one's still installed. Get out of here, plastic. Yeah. Oh, no, we got to do both. Get out. Oh, come on. Oh, there's two things, two nubs all the way back here. Two nubs, nubs and nubs, and now we are free. I gotta be careful with these things though, because like that is not gonna be strong after 20 years. 20 years in the mines. I wonder if it is prudent to replace all the LEDs too. There's a lot of pretty big variety of LEDs going into this thing, so I don't think I'm in a position to do that, but I mean, I could probably source a bunch of them. I should probably leave the OEs in there. It's not really bending, is it? Yeah, the whole bending the leads thing is kind of a plague on my operations, because it's really difficult to get them to bend back properly without damaging the board. I'm trying really hard, because this board is not expensive. It's quite a cheap board, and so it's probably pretty easy for me to accidentally lift some of the via up and off. And look, that doesn't even look like it's via'd all the way around. It's like cut off. Were these hand designed, or did they have some kind of a CAD program? I think they were hand designed. A lot of big old blueprint drawings. Well, actually, looking at the traces, yeah, they got teardrops on them, and they look fairly unique per trace. But then they'll do stuff like this with the 45-degree angles, and then they'll do a weird angle here. And then that's off, but, well, no, it's an oval. I'm looking for surefire signs of CAD design. I think that is CAD design. I think in 1998 CAD standards, that keep out area also looks like it was done by a computer. So yeah, I think we are digitally designed boards. It's always fun to find hand-drawn boards that have like these sort of rounded traces going everywhere. Because they just did As the Crow Flies. Did that let go of the whole thing? Yeah, I think it did. Yeah, we're good. Man, this thing is so huge. All right, almost, sort of, almost there. This thing is enormous. I need like a different desk setup to work on it. My desk is for smaller equipment. I should have bought a 303. Should have gotten a 303. Nah, but the 303 couldn't have done the complete fill of the audio that this thing can to supplement for my only having one synthesizer. Dun dun dun. Although that synth is going to be able to do some cool stuff when we get it to fruition. I'm looking forward to that because I've got a lot of interesting modules in there, and then I've got a couple filters that we need to figure out. The cool thing that I really want to do is I want to focus on the pick and place gantry that we're building so that I can use it to build some of the filters, because the filters are just circuit boards. They're modular addict circuit boards. And so what I'll be able to do is pick and place all the parts into place, get that on this beautiful microscope, and then we can have a bunch of shots of everything flowing over all at once. I may not do it the factory method. I may do it by splitting the boards, because there's like 3 circuit boards for this filter that I want to do. And so if I split the boards, then we can get 3 different shots of everything flowing over. I think that'll be good. See, my fear is that I'm going to put that pressure into it and it'll lift up the top pad. Look at how they bent these leads. It's not fair. And I don't know if I have something that can put enough force into those to get them to be straight again. Because these are like thick. These are big leads. I was trying to use the pin tool to do it, and it kind of does. It kind of does. I need like a little tube, like a little tiny stainless tube kind of thing that I can stick onto the end of the lead and then kind of work down into there and then bend it back up. Or maybe I just need to kind of put more force into this and stop being so afraid. Okay, that's too much force. It's not, it's okay to be afraid. I guess everybody saw what I was doing today and fled. How small do you think my vices are? That's a small oh, I don't mean on the part that's been removed. I mean in situ. In situ, I want to straighten out these leads because they keep the component from falling, and they'll push up against the sides of the hole. And when that happens, there's a little like surface tension blob of solder that holds the thing on. So, I mean, yeah, I could put this in a vise right now and I could straighten those leads, but these are the ones that I need to have straightened. And pressing on them with the pin tool puts a lot of force into it, and I don't want to break like the via that's underneath. The other method is just to not worry about the surface tension, but I kind of want these to fall out. I mean, if I got the big iron on, I could just push this thing off with both leads molten solder. That'd probably be the faster way to do it. Does it feel weird? Oh, because I'm not on anything. So if I do this method of going back and forth, I risk putting all my force into a top layer of copper without the bottom layer, and then it might rip up a pad, which has happened to me before a lot. It's happened a lot, like all the time. It's scary because then you have to go in and repair the circuit board. Although on the other layer, I don't know what else it would be doing on the other layer, because it's got all the connections it needs down here. Is this a dual layer? This might be a single layer. I don't know how many jumpers I saw, though. They love to save cost by having a single layer PCB for stuff like this. Was that the light turning on? No. So what happens is when I press down on this, the whole thing moves. And when the whole thing moves, these two shielded connectors up here catch my desk lights. And so it makes this little flash of light that I see. And so I go, oh, is this an alert? Is something happening? Nothing ever happens. There's no such thing as alert. Very annoying. Very annoying. Yeah, I think just pressing down and then heating them both up is the way to go. You kind of develop these techniques as you go. Oh, lost it. It's like doing dental surgery. Wait, I'm actually not pushing on anything. There we go. No, nothing's moving. Hold on. I'm getting too cocky. I'm actually going to add solder to it because it's not like flowing over. You know, I can employ the Z-axis on this. That might actually be a good way to hold up, because the more this board flexes, the more I'm thinking I'm going to break it. I gotta watch that I don't like... Yeah, see? That's coming up. There's not a lot of integrity on the traces here because this is very old electronics. So that, we just pulled up half of a pad. Still salvageable. Obviously, you've got this giant trace coming back around here that I can get to, and I can obviously put a jumper wire directly across these if I need to. It's just I gotta be careful not to harass the pads more than they already are. Which is why I'm a little nervous about pressing down on it from below. From above, rather. All right, that just broke out. I got to take a look at that one and see if we lifted a pad on the other side. Doesn't look like we did. Are there, okay, I gotta take a look and see if there are pads on the other side. No pads. Huh, they're just holes. They don't have copper on them. So the pad is only on the bottom layer, which is why it's not as strong. If there were plated through vias and there were pads on both sides, which was probably more costly back then than it is now by a long shot. If there were pads on the other side of the board, these would be a lot stronger, but they're not. There are no pads, so we got to be careful. The Z-axis is actually too big for this. Okay, so at least we know what we're up against. I mean, this is kind of like a one-layer board, although there is copper on the other layer. There just aren't solder pads on the other layer. It's weird. And the holes are just holes. They're like these. This one's like a screaming gecko face. Looks like one eye's looking down, the other eye's looking up. It's chameleon, rather. And it's going, ah! I guess that's why the other ones were easier to peel up, is because there's only this top pad. Just that the leads are bent in a weird way, and that's getting in the way. So did they even do that back then? Plated through? I'm not sure. I think plated through has been around for a while. It's like I can't put enough force into this to bend it back. I don't know why. This is like, so things have gone well for a bunch of them, and then we've hit the point where I get overconfident and it just, none of my techniques work anymore. That one bent. Can this one bend? It's like a question of leverage, I guess. Come on. There we go. So if I can get one of them free, then the other one will go. Oh, we're running out of room on the desk. We've only got 4 or 5 more to go. All that talk yesterday about leaded solder. I don't know, man. You know, you get your health checkup and it says you're totally fine. Leaded solder isn't in your bloodstream, but it's still like you're around this like horrible metal that's heated to like a smoking temperature. It's not a good environment to be in, and I don't know why you would argue that it's fine. Unleaded solder is like a really good thing. I just deposited a bunch of solder on that. Jeez, okay, there. Let's see, pin tool, there it is. See if I can just pull back on this a little bit. Well, in all the right directions, not the wrong ones. Man, I need another Generation Zero style game. For some reason, I just thought about the one lodge that you go to in the game, and it was, man, that was a fun game. Snip the button leads before, if you can. I think that the snipper is going to put too much force into the pad, because remember, it's just a top layer pad. So if I go in there with the flush cutters and I snip it, it might get close, but I think it'll put too much force on the pad. It's not a bad idea though. If I do this and then see what happens is I can get this one reliably unseated, and then if I add heat to this one, then they both just fall through when I put pressure on it. That's what I've been kind of doing for these. It is not a bad idea though. Oh, get out of there. Only a couple more to go. We can be free of this prison in a moment. Then we have to hunt around for the other buttons. Those will be kind of similar. I hope we can come up with a technique for reliably unseating those. Just they have these hugely thick leads and they bent them. I wish they didn't do that. I can never get that one. Versus when you've got like a dip 40 solder and they bent every single lead in the opposite direction before putting it through the wave. What the heck? They do that? I've never seen. Well, you know what? I actually have seen that. You're right. You're right. You're right. Yeah, they bend the very ends of the little leads. Oh, it's so bad. Yep. Okay, this is pushing all of the parts and all the Stream Deck, and it's like everything is shifting in the desk because of this. This thing is huge. You've had the boards where they do every single one. Sega Genesis. Have I seen a Sega Genesis PCB? I'm not sure that I... Oh, my buddy actually modified one and put a home theater computer in it like 20 years ago. Oh my God. They were a little bit more available back then to do sacrilege to. He put a, whatever the phone thing, that cartridge that lets you get on the phone network. He gutted one of those and he made that the Ethernet hookup for his home theater PC. Nowadays, you could probably do it much better with a much smaller and faster embedded system. But he took the circuit boards out. I don't know what happened to them. I think it was beyond reversal. I don't think he could have reversed it. First Gen 1 had a full-size 64-pin, 6800 in it. And it's a pour of just... It's just as poor quality as this. Poor board quality. Yeah, it's okay. Sorry, I can't put sentences together because I've had a long day today, and I didn't sleep. I meant to sleep. I think I went to bed early. Yeah, where you're just guaranteed to lose pads due to the board quality. That's horrifying. Don't you put that evil on me. That one's not really going to capitulate, is it? I got like two more. One more after this, I think. See what that does. Japanese PCBs are not great in the time frame, it seems. Yeah, I guess this is Japanese, isn't it? Was it made in Japan, though? I think that's written right around here. Assembly number... I don't know. I could probably find where it says that. Pushing the pin through with the soldering iron. I really don't want to harass anything around here. I know I've been a little rough with them, but now that I know that the pad is only on one side of the board, I should really be cautious about stressing out those pads, because we've already ripped one. These are the last two. And the one all the way over here, no, the one all the way over there is tap, and tap works, so we don't need to do tap. My dad was sharing with me a conspiracy theory about my grandfather, who apparently was part of the second wave of D-Day. But the particular squad that he said that he did second wave with D-Day he's not listed with them. He's not on any of the records. And my grandfather did a lot of identifying airplane stuff. He had a pamphlet that he made, a book that he made that was how to identify airplanes from the ground. For, you know, like a pamphlet handed out to soldiers. So my dad is starting to get conspiratorial with it and thinking that he was in like some kind of an intelligence thing. But from what I understand, his job was going in and pricing out all the stuff that the military had liberated, quote unquote. Why is there like no pad? Is that just a result of sucking the solder? Or did I actually completely remove the pad just by sucking this? This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. I think I completely removed the pad just by the power of the suck. I think that is what just happened. There's going to be some minor repairing that needs to be done on this because it's weak. It's weak. Damn 1990s construction. That's what we're dealing with this house. The power of the suck. Yeah. Jeez. Yeah, it looks like it removed... Oh, no, it's still there. Okay, that happens sometimes. You get like a matte finish, and it looks like it's peeled up the pad, but it looks like I've been just gentle enough. My one true talent. Okay, and then get these things up. Ooh, jeez, thumb's getting tired. Ooh, and I'm getting close to I'm hitting the arrow key on the keyboard. Oh, luckily we didn't have... If I had OBS and focus, that would have done some weird stuff for the scene switching. Almost there. I guess I've been able to see my hands this whole time. It's okay, this is the boring part. The mat's actually from your lead-free reacting with the leaded on the board. Just to loop back to that can of worms, not this again. Is it? I mean, my solder is not 100% lead-free. It's like a 60-40 or something. I'm not cool enough. I ordered the wrong solder. But fascinating if that is what's happening. Ah, come on. Twist it in. Come on, twist it. Twist it. See, this is one of those rare opportunities where I can actually access the other side of the board from the front. There we go. So maybe the best way to do that would have been to use the pin tool and then the big iron on the tip, and put that on both leads at the same time, and then it would have popped it out. Is the hole for the switch maintenance? No, it's actually for the movement. It's for the thing that's pushing the button. This has all kinds of little openings that need to click in to hold the keyboard key and give you that keyboard feel. I haven't eaten anything. Why do I have the hiccups? Stupid stomach betray me. Why everybody betray me? Let's take apart one of these switches and see what killed it, or who killed it. These are all the dead ones. Get all the lead off of my desk. See, the problem is I'm building quite a powerful synthesizer, and the 505 is quite a powerful little groove station, little music producing station. And a lot of people do stuff like this, build all the musical equipment, and then they go to use it, and they're like, oh no, I don't have talent. That's kind of where I feel this is going. We'll see. That's why I feel like there's a lot of that in the modular synthesizer community. They go through the effort and build this whole thing, and then it's like, well, I'm not really that musically creative. Which is absolutely fine for me, because then I could just give stuff to Julian. Here, you make it do cool stuff. I don't know, maybe there's something there. So the way that this thing is constructed is by smashing two pieces of plastic together. Looks like there's an alternative pinout too. Oh, it's made in Japan. Are they somewhat valuable? Mutable Instruments marbles I put together for about $75. And if I were to sell it as a non-original, it wouldn't quite be this much. I don't know if anybody's really selling it new. $500, random sampler, Euro rack, previously owned. After later audio dice marble, 170. 250 bucks for Marbles clone. Marbles Oscillatorus. I mean, like, if I went and, wow, an original beads, I should build a beads. It's $1,000. Yeah, so I mean, like I could probably make a little bit of money back from selling them, but ultimately that would be a little shady. You'd have to disclose that you DIY'd it, and so it probably wouldn't hold all that much value, to be honest. So yeah, it looks like there's a little alternate pinout coming out of the bottom here. And then also these leads can be bent down in order to have this thing be at 90 degrees. Kind of cool. So they don't make these anymore. So let's see what's under the rubbly button part. Blech. What have you done? Oh. So did it oxidize? Let's look at the button contact. Of course, me doing this is also wiping it off, so... Oh, yes, so... It just seems like, even though it's rubber sealed, I don't know, maybe it was on an airplane and oxygen exchanged between the inside and the outside, because basically that's your contact, and then your rubbly button is your feel. Boop, beep, bop, boop. I would have expected this to deteriorate first. Maybe this was in like a submarine or something, and there was a gas exchange between the buttons and the outside world, and that's what killed it. Or just creep over time, I guess. Whatever oxygen was in there oxygenated this things. But look at that, it wipes off real easy. If I wanted to go through the trouble of trying to reseat this thing, I don't know if that's even possible. Probably, with enough effort, you could probably reseat them. You really peel them all off, wipe them without bending them like I did, and then somehow work them all back in so that they sealed again, and then they would be buttons again. There had to be an inciting event. I'll bet somebody took this thing on an airplane too many times or something. And just the difference in pressure worked some stuff in there that was unsavory. I felt myself go through the rubber there, so that would be very difficult to do. Deoxit? Yeah, I guess so. I don't know how you would get deoxit in here, though. How would you do that? That would be crazy. Take a really tiny jeweler's drill, come in from a weird angle right here, and then spurts a little deoxit in there. I'll probably want to show off this a little later on too, because Short Lurker will probably pop in. But yeah, it does look like it's just oxidation. That's why so many of the buttons died. It doesn't speak well for the survivability of the remaining buttons, and I have no idea how that seal could possibly have been penetrated on every single keyboard button that I have. It's kind of crazy. All right, well, put these aside as an example. Oh, this is the part that I hate, is installing through-hole parts is very annoying. I kind of don't want to bend the leads, but I guess, well, we don't need the full lead on all of these. Let's just get my Nipex. Oh, did you see that, Short Lurker? I was going to show that specifically to you. Short Lurker did a lot of really good work figuring out who makes these and what are available. The ones that I got in the mail are unfortunately the Panasonic units. These are likely the Alps units. These have a little Japan thing on the bottom saying where they're from. Little JPN right there. And some kind of a symbol. And it looks like the alternative model numbers would be a 90-degree angle, as that can go down that way, and they could probably like ultrasonic weld another piece of plastic behind it. Looks like there are leads coming out of the top too, so maybe there's an option with 4 leads where they come out of the top and the bottom. That might be what that's for. And then there's a 3-lead variant. And we can do another one real quick. I'm just going to do it. Oh, that one ripped. So I got real lucky with that other one. I guess I got lucky with the rubber coming out on the other one. Let's see how oxidized this one is. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, we confirmed all of these to be pretty well unbutton-like. believe Panasonic is the original, which you're removing. Alps is their clone. Oh. Oh, I guess Panasonic Japan. Is Alps literally in the Alps? Is there some evil genius base where they manufacture these in the Alps? Find me in the Alps. All right, so I think the 4-lead variant bends these downwards and then they come out of the top and the bottom. Kind of cool. All that stuff built into one little rubbly button. Okay, so new rubbly buttons. Let me get these cut. They really put clone buttons in their flagship groovebox, huh? I'm gonna cut all these out because we do need to do all of them. Okay, let's just drop one on the floor. Did that make it to the... Ah, I just heard it. Hold on, I can get this off of the floor before I step on it. Stepping on one of these buttons would be maybe not a disaster. I think they would survive pretty well, but it's very, very unpreferable. I just wonder how they... Is there any space between the pins and the shell? I mean, they say they're like self-cleaning, which I don't understand. Those look sealed. It looks like there's plastic in it, and it looks like it's molded around the pins. A syringe of rubbing alcohol and injecting it in to clean. I don't know, and that's a desperate move, especially when you can get an equivalent button. I mean, you're talking to a guy with syringes and alcohol at the ready, so I mean, I guess I could test that. You guys want to test that? Let's test it. Get a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Straighten out these leads so I can get probes on it. I don't know what that would do to the longevity of your buttons. I don't know if, but I want to try it just because we have all of the exact stuff that we would need to try it. And it's more exciting than sitting here going camera number 1, camera number 2, camera number 1, camera number 2. So I gotta really straighten out these leads because I don't want to ruin my breadboard. Okay, let's just get the solder off of it. Little did you know that you would become a science experiment. My science experiment. Does it span the gap? It does not. Okay, I think that does it. And then we do... Ow! Damn it! I hate these fucking leads, man. I didn't pierce my thumb. What's going on over at YouTube? Do I have like half a viewer? Where's my analytics? They're there. 12? Man, you put 505 in the title and suddenly you're YouTube famous. All right, ohms, and then we're gonna get a syringe, which I have an ample amount of. And I got to figure out where my rubbing alcohol, or not rubbing alcohol, electronics alcohol is. I don't even have regular alcohol today. I need to go to the store. I guess it's not the weekend. Big Clive. We got to raid Big Clive. That's our next like raid goal. Doug and Big Clive I've got on my radar. So we get nonsense when we try to press this, right? I push down on it and it's like, huh? Huh? Bruh. Nothing. So what we're going to try is the Idea Fairy, who has visited us in chat, to tell us to try to inject. And it's Janoon. 1, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3? 1, 2, 3. We're going to try it because I think it's a fascinating idea. I have syringes. I am a type 1 diabetic. We live around the damn things. So I'm just going to my medical supplies right now. you guys won't see me. I'm just gonna go and grab that. And then I need to think about where my electronics cleaning alcohol, oh, I know where it is, it's right here. Where's my alcohol? That's too strong, that's strong stuff. I'm not gonna use that. Barkeep, no, bartender's friend or whatever. Methyl ethyl ketone. Oh no, you know what? It's by the 3D printer. I have to disconnect the mic to get to it. I have to disconnect the microphone for 1 second. I will be right back. YouTube won't hear anything. Twitch gets music. I was muted, but I'm not now. I'm just sitting down. I had to get that from the Goop printer. No, I'm a type 1 diabetic. I've got tons of these things. I know you can get dulled syringes on Amazon, and I do. We're going to use that for the pick and place, but this is an insulin syringe. What do we got? 0.3 liter, so 30 units of insulin can be injected with this thing. The point of getting this, as opposed to the larger, like Amazon ones, is that it has a very small needle. So that'll help us make, you're not supposed to recap needles, by the way, kids. Don't recap needles. All right, let's get the music out of here. Pause. Okay, so the thing is, like, diabetic, you're gonna wanna recap needles all the time. In a hospital setting, if you're like a nurse, you never recap a needle because what can happen is the needle can catch the edge of the plastic and then that'll guide it out the side. I've had times where I've casually put the caps back on my own needles, so I know they're only infected with all of the diseases that I have, and I cannot reinfect myself with more diseases. But I've had times where I put the thing back on and it's given me a pretty nasty little prick in my finger, just because it catches the edge. One of my little tricks is that you should never recap needles, but I kind of spin it a little bit as I go, just so that if it does start catching, the act of spinning it'll make it take a different trajectory. Stabbing myself with my own germs. I've been reinfected. Okay, this is alcohol from, why is it yellow? This has been sitting for a while, but this is from the 3D printer, so maybe I can pick up on it like this. It's called sounding, kids. Come on. Why is it not going up the tube? What the hell? Why is this not squirting? Oh, maybe because I need to tighten this? Oh, because my needle was sealing it. Okay, that's more than we're going to inject. And flick the side of the needle in order to get the bubbles up to the top. Yeah, I was creating an air seal with the syringe. That's so silly. Stupid. All right, now I want to put this bottle away because I'm getting like plastic on me. Ugh. That 3D printer plastic is one of my least favorite things. The Goop printer, because now my fingers feel weird. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to inject just a little bit of rubbing alcohol into this thing. So to prove the initial state, we can see that if I just push down with a little bit of force, we get just kind of crazy results. where the ohms are jumping all over the place, right? So lift, press, lift, and separate. See, it's just jumping all over the place. So let's try. They say these are self-cleaning, but I guess they're not. These are not self-sealing stem bolts. I'm just going to go in the side. Boink. That was too much. I overwhelmed it. Press it a bunch, get the alcohol everywhere. They also have sharp ones. Are they listed as sterile or non-sterile? Because you got to be careful with that. So while there's alcohol in there, we have mega ohms. I'm gonna make sure this thing stays on. No freaking way. No way! No, no way. Nope. Hold on. Not as... Okay, they are listed as sterile. You got to be careful about that, because, like, getting syringes from not a pharmacy is... you can get shady stuff. Amazon in the EU does sell sterile vials and needles. Okay, for and diabetic syringes. I don't trust the Chinese sterile certificates, even though they probably come from the same factory in the end, I see. Yeah, see, I've got like tons of syringes. Like this would be just for topping up on small doses of insulin. I'm gonna empty this and throw it away when I'm done. But I don't like using these for project stuff because they're sharp and they don't hold a lot. The ones that I really like are the ones that I use to fill my insulin pump, which are much larger syringes. And then they have a lure lock on them. So you can buy dulled lure lock syringe tips. I use those a lot. And when we buy solder paste, it comes in a syringe. I think that was a temporary solution because I'm getting fucky results now. Like if I hold it a little bit, we go down to ohms, but we're not going down to 3. That worked really well for 4 button presses. Well, if I put a little force into it, but you're not supposed to put a little force into it. This is supposed to be very light touch. Needs to dry for a bit. Yeah. I mean, it needs to be operated a lot so that we can shake all of those particles out. But the question is if it dries again with the alcohol in there. Alternatively, I could inject it again so that it overflows. What a fascinating fix, because if there's not pressure on the rubber like there is for the top of like an insulin bottle, you know, like the medication bottle, that rubber has a little bit of pressure on it so that when you release the needle, it seals up again. This doesn't have pressure on it, so there is now just a permanent hole in that rubber. But going down to 1 ohm, that's pretty good. Well, that's crazy. Yeah, the question is, in like a month, will we have expelled all of the evil from the switch, or will it just redistribute it and then still have problems? I get the diabetic ones at the pharmacy, $4 for a bag of 10. Yeah, so there, yeah, it's that's not even an issue, yeah. I have gotten the BD sterile from Amazon before, though. It's just hard to find just the right one, and the sellers come and go because it's, I guess, shady dealings. All right, let's come back to that in a bit. Let's put that aside. That was fascinating. You can see if there's any pin openings in the case to inject it in instead. And I don't know if they make a liquid contact cleaner you could load it up with. There are no openings. It is a sealed. Last time they didn't have any more of the proper diabetic unit ones, but they had ones for diabetic cats. Ah. Poor Snuffles. Poor Snuffles. Yeah, why are the, I guess they're cat units, like cow tools. That would be really, really unfun to inject myself with. Really unfun. Let me stress how unfun that would be. Whatever the opposite of fun is, there it is. So I'm going to try to put these in without bending leads. I really don't want to bend the leads. I mean, that was a fascinating fix. By all means, it should have a good effect on it. Unfortunately, it took me over to the Goop 3D printer, and so now my hands are weird. Probably shouldn't be releasing all these at the same time, but whatever. Whatever, I just want to get it done. I'll probably hold the board up vertically and solder one leg of each of these, and then I can go down the line. We don't need the microscope for this by any sort of stretch of the... Yeah, that definitely smells like... God damn it. The Goop printer is never to be used or even observed without gloves on, and I just violated my own policies. There's probably residual like epoxy shit, the UV epoxy crap on this outside of this bottle. I went to this bottle because it would be quicker and easy for me to get a little bit of alcohol to spritz, and my other one's running out. Yeah, I can use this alcohol to clean my hand. It's never perfect. It's never perfect. One of the big things about the Goop printer is if you ever have an incident where you get this stuff on your hands, use a fingernail brush, one of those little square brushes that you can really get into your cuticles and fingernails with, because that's where it's going to be. That's where the hot sauce stuff will get you. That's how I've gotten my eyes many times, and that's why I know what 3D printer ink tastes like. Okay. So I got my batons. Get this stuff out of the way. We'll come back to the test later. And then this thing comes over here. I got the soldering iron on one side and the buttons on the other. So I'm just going to put a finger on it like that. And then somehow, using my third hand with my third eye, deposit a little solder on the lead. I mean, sometimes I do things like this. Yeah, that's going to be the way to go. So I'm going to hold it on the other side with my pinky, just basically press it up against the circuit board, and then solder the leg, like so. Oh, soldering iron's not on. It thinks I'm using the soldering iron in bed at night, and so it keeps turning off the iron in case I've fallen asleep. It's like, hey man, I got you, bro. Make sure you don't burn down your house. Thanks, iron. I was literally holding it, but okay. Some irons, the more modern ones, will have like accelerometers in the tip, or in the handle. As long as there's a little solder to hold it on, that's all I really need. And then we'll come in and get all the leads clipped and all that good stuff. So right now we're just fixing the keyboard. I have like 250,000 buttons to get out. I think I might switch the big iron tip so that I can just heat them from one side and then yoink them out. Because like the tedium that we're dealing with here, replacing all these, it's nice to be artisanal and handcrafted instrument maker, but you need to like power through. Yeah, it's every time I use the big iron tip, it's that song is just there. It's just there. It's in the room. It needs to be addressed. I can't believe there's pads only on one side of the board, but it's a two-sided circuit board. That's very strange, Japan. You know, fully working groovebox was probably not $75 more than the broken one. I'm having fun doing this, though. Actually, I think it was like 100 more for the working one. Okay, that's the pad that I damaged. We'll go to the other one then. Well, I think the plan is more like, how much does it cost to plate the holes? Miss me with that. Probably like, hey, we don't really, like, we could avoid pads on the top layer and just use it for trace routing, and then we'd have way fewer vias. It wouldn't cost so much on this enormous circuit board that we're building. Kind of shocked there's a solder mask even. Did I just solder a bunch of these pins inadvertently? Oh no, I just deposited solder on them. Okay, that picked off. Hopefully those don't short out anything else. God, that's the last thing I need. Because of where the solder dropped, Bother accidentally shorted out the main processor. That'd be a bitter end to my 505 career. We're taking this thing all the way to the top of the charts. I'm going to make the next Thriller. It's close to midnight. Where's Vincent Price? I need a monologue. Back then, double-sided PCBs were the best you do before they invented multi-layer traces. The multi-layer boards are crazy. And now, I can get one for a reasonable price. I can go 4 layers. Weird. Weird being able to do that. I'm definitely blobbing up the solder on some of these. These are going to need a little bit of cleanup. Starlight, starlight, do 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 do. Starlight, starlight, starlight. Which was the original Thriller. You look up Starlight Michael Jackson, you can listen to Starlight. It's so weird. Ooh, bending transistors a little bit. Gotta be careful about that. From mainframe equivalent HP. No solder mask, but 8 layers. Oh, jeez. Those are weird. They're impossible to troubleshoot. You need an X-ray. Can you imagine being responsible for the first couple board runs of something that has 8 layers, 16 layers? The amount of precision manufacturing that went into it. Circuit board precision is on another level from machinist precision. It really, like, no wonder all these engineers hate each other. Okay, all the buttons are in. None of them are floating. No, they're all flush to the board. This one, not so much. Actually, yeah, it is. Part of the button, like, sticks up, so it kind of looks like they're not flush, but they are. We won't know for a little bit if these are working because I've got a lot of buttons to put in. Yeah, the old boards are thicker because what they have to, like, plate on layers. It's crazy. Nah, miss me with that too. I'm happy in my little world of 2-layer boards and not having gray hairs because you have to troubleshoot something with 1 billion layers. All right, I guess I'm gonna run down and just solder the rest of these. Solder goes on smooth though. Some of them less than others. Okay, that one got it. Which one of these is holding on? I don't know. What the heck was that? My fear is that if I come through here with the flush cutters and, oh, damn it. Yeah, I got the wrong one on that. If I come through here with the flush cutters and it puts too much force into the pad and rips it up and has like a micro crack, I won't be able to see that crack. All right, I'm gonna come back to that one. That one's the damaged one. I think I have to scrape the trace a little bit and expose it. Wow, some of these are really fighting getting a teardrop on them. I don't know what it is. Maybe just the gap between the pin and the pad. Oh, damn it. That was another one. Dun, 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 starlight. Ooh, I think this one's ripped on the wrong side. Wow. That's unique. Okay, we'll come back to it. We'll take a look at these on the microscope before we actually see on your heat pad how long the pads hold onto the heat after you're soldering. There's not a lot of mitigation for heat on this. When I'm soldering to boards that have better like ground planes and stuff, it's really cool to see how much heat dissipates over to the ground plane as I'm soldering. Yeah, the thermal cam was a good little investment. They're getting a lot cheaper and better though lately, thermal cameras. This we bought like 5 years ago, and it's a Lepton 3.5. It's about $150 at the time, and I had to get the Group Gets thermal webcam board, which allows me to use OBS and get the full resolution into OBS. Otherwise, you can get like thermal imager things for this, and all of the gun manufacturers, all the optics for guns are now getting like thermal overlays and stuff because of the cheapness of this. They've learned how to kind of work with the Lepton core. The Group Gets one is kind of frustrating though, because it uses this Molex connector that will frequently drop the thermal imager. And so we broke a thermal imager by having it drop out of my webcam setup. So we actually designed and 3D printed an enclosure. Lepton has such a good model for it. You can turn on and off the field of view. It's got a field of view cone. So basically you can just put plastic over the top and then use the field of view cone to cut out a hole that it'll be able to see through. I saw a guy repairing a broken laptop board by cross-wiring an internal layer and then sealing it with a kind of mask and cross-wiring external layer. That sounds like hell. What the hell? I don't understand that at all. That's fascinating. So he exposed internal layers and then somehow got them working together. This is crazy. I can't imagine. What I'm doing is I'm putting my finger on the pin. I don't want these just shooting all over the place. Typically I let them shoot all over the place because it's funny. I don't want them doing that because I don't want them to end up in this thing and short out and blow up. So one finger on the back of it and clip flush to as flush to the board as you can get the flush cutters. There's no point in forcing them to be super close. There's crows outside cawing. We have 3 crows that live in the neighborhood. I try not to let Willow chase them at all because they'll remember. And they'll teach their kids that they hate you. Dead serious. Now, with larger leads, doing what I'm doing can get you a piece of metal in the finger. It'll actually break skin on the larger leaded through-hole stuff. The ones that really snap off. I've seen people take flush cutters and they put silicon like caulk in the gap so that it provides like a rubber grip on the thing that you're cutting. Okay, so those are all reasonably shorter than they were. Little piece right there that came off. Okay. Now we got to go through the microscope and look at each individual one because it seems like I am going to have to open up some of the contacts for them. I need to get this. I've got all these leads on my hand and I got to get them off. You need insane patience for this kind of work? You know, I've always been a very patient person, actually. People have told me I'm one of the most patient people they've ever seen, although doesn't that mean that I'm liable to, like, snap one day? I'm just gonna crack and, like, start drop-kicking electronics everywhere. Oh, this is for other stuff. The DOS dude repairs are insane because before he can do any repairs, he has to drill out existing holes more because the drilling process alone is enough for tiny pieces of copper to short internal layers. What the hell? That's insane. What are these crows cawing about out there? Jeez. Take it easy. They're just having the time of their life. Crows just mess around all the time. Bouncing about, doing bird stuff. Okay, so some of the ones like didn't solder like this one. So what I'll need to do is scrape up a little bit of this and see if I can get it to actually like bridge. So scraper is just the knife that we saw yesterday. And then all I'm gonna do is just gently follow the solder mask until I see exposed pad. Try to get it all the way up there too. I think a little bit of the lead is getting in my way. Now, did I cut this completely flush? That was dumb. I thought I had a little bit of height on it. I shouldn't have done that because I probably could have just bent the lead over a little bit and gotten that to make contact. But in that event, I can take a little piece of my wire wrap wire, which is, I'm gonna have to get a new piece. This stuff here, just take the end of it, chop. I do actually have trace repair rivets that I could try, but the trace is only on one side, and I didn't get the through-hole kit. I probably should have gotten the through-hole kit. There's a kit that you can use to do trace repair individually, but this is the OG way to do it, is I'm just gonna come in here and I'm just gonna loop that around, and then we'll have just a little lead on the end of this thing. Pretty over the top for this. The product that I really wish that I could find is a version of not Captain Tape, but the adhesive from Captain Tape. And the adhesive from Captain Tape on copper. I don't really care if it conducts through the copper. What I care about is that I would be able to put a little piece of copper tape down and solder to it without it walking all over the place. Because the tape that they use on those little copper strips, the ones that you generally use for like stained glass, they use some kind of a cursed adhesive that doesn't handle heat at all. It hates heat. It just starts going all over the place with the heat. Now, as soon as I add solder to this, it's going to be all bets are off. Everything's going to flow all over the place, and my little piece of metal is going to just wander. Hopefully, we can keep it in the right like area. The crows are excited for button repair. I didn't know they were fans. Don't you? It started to walk. It started to walk. Oh my God, I need to hold it down with the pen tool. See, I don't mean heat reactive. I just mean that it will tolerate the heat without walking all over the place. Yeah, well, it looked like a good idea, but it really wasn't. I think that's made enough of contact. It's kind of sloppy. It's literally just a chunk of metal that I threw in there, and it looks like it's sticking up too. All right, here, where's the flush cutters? That didn't work. Well, I guess it's good enough. Yeah, it's good enough. Probably should have left one piece of wire in there. No, I'm pretty confident. I mean, it's soldered to both pieces. Yeah, maybe I do put the meter on it. All right, let's do that. Go to ohms. Let's get the science experiment off of the meter. God, it's wrapped around everything. Why are you so wrapped up? So many wires and cables. Stop it! Stupid, stay up. What are you doing? Jeez. No. Yeah. Ah. Okay. Wait, where are we? This is the one. 1.1 ohm. So yeah, we're good. All right, so that's that one, kind of haphazardly repaired. My own doing. These look good. Okay, keep moving, keep moving. That one's a little weird. What's going on there? Just maybe a little bit of heat and a little bit of solder, and that'll cinch it up. There's a button test mode that we can utilize later on. Oh, so it just wasn't soldered. Okay. I think there might be one or two more that are weird. Of course, as I'm inspecting this, I'm like crushing everything else on the desk because this board is so huge. It looks like we're good. Okay, so that should be the rest of the keys in. So now I can actually wait, what's this one? What's going on here? Everybody move it out of the way. All the way over here. You betray me. Yeah, they're all soldering a little weird just because there's a pad on only one side. Look at how there's a little island on the top of the pin there. Jeez, this is weird. Stop it. Stop it with the little solder. There we go. Okay. So now I can get the plastic back on. Do I want to get the plastic back on? All of the keys. Because then I've got to deal with all the keys having plastic on them. I got to be careful because there's a lot of through-hole components on this thing that kind of make it unwieldy. And if I catch them on stuff, they can get damaged. This is why putting your tools away is important. I've had the propeller heads Bond theme stuck in my head as more and more streamers start completing that game. Let's get you out because we know you don't work. And that's nice and accessible from right here. Funny. What's all of this crap over here? Was this thing dropped in the ocean? I think that this 505 was dropped in the ocean. And I think that's why all of its stuff don't work no good no more. Like, how is this barely soldered? Very strange. They were having a beach party. Everybody was having a good time. Everyone was Wang Chung for some reason. I don't know. I don't make up the rules. But, and then somebody bumped the DJ booth and they said, oh no, my 505 dropped in the ocean. I'd better sell it on eBay now. Oh, just a theory. Look at all this extra flux that I have from some unknown source. Neat. Oh, hand cam. Hand cam. Yeah. So much solder on that pad. At least big iron can get through it and melt it all. Is that a square hole? What? An incredible feat of cost cutting. Now, like if I could find that like copper tape that has heat resistant adhesive because of the square hole. No, please. You can't get away with this. I think what I've done is I've lost my flux interface on this, and we've started dissipating heat to the entire corner of the board. And also to the metal frame of the potentiometer. So I'm going to hold heat for just a couple seconds here. And then come in here with multiple suck. Okay. This one, give it a little bit of the heat, a little bit of the beans. Try to clear that one out. Okay, so if I could get the pin tool and kind of push these away. I still need to be careful with the pads, though luckily they have heat relief on them. But we know they're only on one layer, so if I can separate that and let it harden up again, this is now free. So this can be a lot easier to rid your pots of their circuit boardy grave. Okay, that one's loose. So now we do these three. And then the whole thing probably just pulls right out. Pots can be a huge pain in the neck. This method of doing it is how I've kind of figured it out. But there's just, oh man, they can be so bad on modern boards. Multiple suck. Sounds like my job. That was, and so he gets into the classroom, the kid's like, welcome to the suck. It's like, what? Like, that's not how kids talk. Welcome to Taste Suck. Look at how easily that came out. Beautiful. Now this is one of the ones that was like severely damaged. It looks like the whole interface for this thing was like bent away. So it might be just that somebody like sat on this one. This stuff happens a lot with these things. So I bought a brand new one instead of worrying about the old one, and we probably could have cleaned the contacts or something and gotten everything back together pretty decently. These Alpine, or Alps rather, pots, I've got other ones, so I could have potentially taken the cap off of this one and made a Frankenstein amalgamation of pots. This should probably go into a bin somewhere because this type of shaft, I don't think I have a lot of. It feels like some of the lubricant is gone in there though. This one is much smoother. Why are my nails terrible? Why are my nails awful? I haven't been doing like nail maintenance, and so I've got like multiple tier nails. Why is this happening to me? Supposedly I'm really healthy. Oh well, anyway. I'm gonna go buy alcohol after the stream. All right, let's put this one back in. These are nice because they kind of pinch themselves into their location and they'll just hold themselves there. There's a lot of detritus around this. I think it might just be flux, but it really does look like something horrible has happened to this board. But this is a place of healing. We're gonna make it right. I'm gonna do right by you. This is the right one, right? This isn't the old one. The old one's got a bit of patina on it. Okay. It's like, make sure that I'm installing the right one. The whole board rests on this. So, all right. So now I just come in with new solder. This one layer board makes it so much easier to get these parts out. But I just have to be very careful that everything, that I don't break it in the process. That's really like, okay, that was little piece of metal right by the potentiometer. That's nice. I try not to use too much solder, but it seems like I need a lot in order to just make a big blanket around this pin. So you just like so. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. I'll just have to make sure that it's maybe after the fact that it's straight up and down. Probably if I could get away with it, install it into the front panel and then solder it would be the intelligent way to do it. There it goes. Once you hit the right amount of solder, it just suddenly tenses up. I don't have to hold solder on these for as long because I'm not trying to get the solder into a via. There's no via. It's just a pad on the outside. All right, the mark of my flux has been left. That should fit back in. Hopefully it's... Is it sideways? It is sideways. It is sideways. No, it's not. No, it's not. I'm being a crazy person. Seems like... Oh, how can I check that? I think I can just leave it alone. Was that a Potter rotary encoder? That's a potentiometer. This one's a rotary encoder. And we took apart the old rotary encoder. We didn't really clean it off. This is a replacement rotary encoder. It's, I guess, just goes right on top of where the old one was. So we're going to be using that. That's what this PCB is all about. Has the same feel as the old one. It's just the old one is like long discontinued. So let's work on it now. That's right here. I mean, it's probably would be good practice for me to just unplug all these things, but these are annoying to work with. I'm just going to unplug them. I'm going to unplug them. Let's just end the nightmare of working with this sandwich of circuit boards so I can actually get to the stuff that I need to repair. Whoa, buddy. Come on. There you go. These are going to be so annoying to put back. Why don't these pop up? Oh, you need to kind of free it because it hits against the back of the cable. And then I've got to flip this board multiple times without damaging these things. Do these release? These don't release on the other side. The other side is soldered directly. So it's very, very annoying. But let's put the computer somewhere else. This is our test setup to figure out which ones were broken. We don't need to do that again. So we don't need it to be in this configuration. I can just put this on any of the open flat surfaces that I have in the shop. There are none. There are none. There's nowhere. Okay, I've got to be careful about flexing these because these will break and those will cause even more woe and disdain and problem and whinging. This one wants to fall right where I'm working. Okay, we're right here. This is the encoder. It's an AB encoder. Just like all the other stuff with this thing, the AB encoder was completely and utterly devastated by, I don't know, previous owner. Or whatever accident fell upon our beautiful 505. So the question is, and I've not seen, this is the, there we go, our little disappointed robot. That one right there maybe doesn't do anything. So when we replace it, we have pins going through all but that one, because this is a surface mount AB encoder. Same feel, but yeah. Oh, and they got their little synth parts on it. Okay, so let's get sucking. Because, yeah, that AB encoder was bad. It was not sending good signals. Very frustrating when something like that fails, because you don't know how the microcontroller is programmed to interpret the AB waves, and there's multiple different ways to do it, but when the AB encoder starts failing, it gives it weird information, and so you can have stuff skip around, like go 500 locations or 500 menu choices ahead. Take a look on the other side just in case. I know what it is. I don't know what I'm about. We're fine. Where did the new one go? There it is. I don't know if those will go through. But I did actually observe the other side, and this is the same part. I mean, we got to get the bad one out anyway, so let's just do that, and then we'll compare them. I don't know how common the replacement is, but this is what they had on their website under 505 parts, so. Oh, it didn't do anything. Yeah, I'm loving all the UO refugees. You guys are hanging out. You guys have been consistent viewers. It's nice. Good to see. He gathered a lot of really cool people, huh? GERD, is that get her done? Is that what that is? All right, get as much of the solder as I can, and then we're going to do the thing where we bend it backwards. I don't know if the pin tool is the right tool for this, because I can't get a lot of force into the pin tool, and this is going to require bending a big piece of metal. Try it, though. Oh, that was actually pretty nice. Is that loose now? Yep. Oh, it's actually gastroesophageal reflux disease. GERD. I have a version of that. Actually, mine is something about the lower esophageal sphincter not opening up to drain food. So I'll have acid pool in my stomach, and then I end up hiccuping and stuff as the stomach is trying to like exit, or it's trying to like purge all the stuff in it. So it'll like flex and muscle stuff, and then I end up burping in the middle of stream with nuclear burps. So I have to take a Prilosec, not brand name. I just take famotidine, and that usually handles it. It's just when I do something stupid like I'm gonna have pizza for lunch, that I end up with an absolutely nuclear stomach. But having just gotten home from having just met with the endo, apparently my blood work was amazing. My A1C was great. And he said about 70% of the time my glucose levels are normal, which is a huge departure from how they used to be. And the reason that I'm like that is because I'm using the Android Auto Pancreas system, which is a looping system. It's a feedback system. It just fell out. What allows for the machine to become my pancreas. So I no longer have to be my own pancreas. It just fell out. My phone and my insulin pump and my constant glucose monitor talk to each other, and they gossip about me, but they also manage my glucose levels really, really well. So pretty cool. That's just about the same thing. It really is. Pressure differential via the way. Oh, you guys are talking about stomach stuff. So I think this just goes right in. And I think we solder these giant protruding leads just the same. Yeah, it seems like it grips on the inside of it. Like that. And then the holes line up. Look at that. Those line up just fine. So yeah, this just goes right in instead of the other one. Cool. Just make sure that that's flush when I solder it. And then I guess I'll drive some... Let's use header pins. I'll drive some header pins through and solder them from up here. so that it'll hold into place. Where is that? Where are header pins? Header pins. Show me. Yeah, these are they. Are these they? Okay, there's that. Magnesium. Magnesium has been trialed for skipping joint pain, which is a form of autoimmune disorder. You might want to look into high-end supplementing of magnesium glycinate to ease up the immune system to peg your pancreas into diabetes. Damn. Crazy talk. All right, let's get a couple of these header pins, just so I have big, thick pins. The stuff you learn when you get older. Yeah, against your own will. Need 3 of these. So I'll put that way over here. Ah, yes, the old magnetic pliers. Makes you want to throw them against a concrete floor, which is how you demagnetize. There's a couple ways to demagnetize things. Magnets hate heat, but also magnets hate percussive forces because it scrambles the atoms' spins and causes them to no longer spin in unison with one another. So you can either toss that shit against the wall, get it hot, or use some kind of a scrambling voltage, I suppose. I involuntarily learned about the Kardashians, among other things. Yeah, that's my situation with Hassan and Asmongold and all those fuckos. I, against my will, have been learning things about them, and I just don't want to anymore. I don't want to. Why am I learning about these people? Like, nothing positive will come from this. Now, if I just insert that, it's going to fall through. That's actually holding. So maybe before it falls through, if I can get that soldered. Act of soldering it might make it fall through. Do 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 do. That's a cool little board. Guess I'm glad somebody made it. Damn it, that fell right through. So, best thing for me to do would be to anchor this first. Well, actually, I can anchor it with the 1 pin. That'll be fine. Let's just solder this, and then I'll apply heat to the solder and push that down so that it's flush. So now I can push down on the little board. Make sure that's flat. I don't know if that's tilted or not, because it can tilt forward a little bit if I'm not careful. Okay, so now I'm going to anchor it. I mean, really, the responsible way to do this would be to put the front panel on, and that way I know it's aligned. I don't know if I'm really going to be able to get solder on. Yeah, I can get a little tiny bit. I'm not going to put a huge amount of solder on these. Maybe I want to. Actually, this is a big... Yeah, this is an interface. I'm going to put all the solder on it. I'm going to make sure that it's completely soldered, because this is where the 500-pound gorilla interfaces with the rest of the electronics. So it would behoove me to give it a big mechanical advantage here. Just a big ol'... Got to hold heat on it for a little bit, just so that it really gets onto the metal of the encoder, because that barely sticks through. You can only just kind of get a little bit of it from there. Hopefully that's not tilted forward. Yeah, that's good. Okay, cool. Good stuff. All right, so the pin that dropped, there it is. Tweezers. Where'd it go? It's right in front of me. Where'd it go? There it is. Nope. I gotta somehow put solder on with one hand, hold it with tweezers with another hand, and then put the iron to it with a third. We'll do the way you're not supposed to, which is loading up the iron with solder first. Damn it, dropped it. Where's the other pin? Where's the other pin? Where'd it go? It's right here. It's magneting to my pin tool for some reason. Where did all the solder go? There it is. Yeah, it sort of worked. And then the other pin's underneath. It's that one. Yeah, cool little adapter board. No. That fell completely through. It must have sucked all the solder away. The problem is I'm relying on the bottom layer holes is a bad idea because if I push down on these pins, they could easily remove the whole thing. Put a bead on the board and then heat and stick through. That's what literally I tried that exactly, and the pin kept falling through because working much in the same way as desoldering braid, as I fed the pin through, it was getting tinned by the solder and using it up until the hole didn't have enough solder to hold the thing in place. Crazy. It's kind of fun. I mean, this is all big through-hole stuff from the early 90s. Late 90s, sorry, the late 1900s. The late 19th century. Would that be the late 20th century? I think that's the late 20th century. Yeah, all this stuff from the late 1900s is real easy for me to work on. It's all through-hole and big. The end years of the 1900s. The time of some cell phones. Giant desktop computers. Camcorders. Not much big data. A little bit of big data. I mean, Deus Ex had big data. Staten Island's recording everything that you do online. Oh my God, this is crazy. Nobody would ever do something like that. All right, let's get the keys back on and just see how they feel. And then I'm probably going to call it a day because my tomorrow is going to be filled with nothing but soldering buttons. And I'm probably going to do that on my own. You guys don't need to see that. And then when we come back on Tuesday, unless I get a bug up my butt about doing something tomorrow, because I might have, well, you know what, next week I've got a lot of time, and so I think we're probably going to have a less of a regular schedule next week, and I'll do more streams, because it's just going to be me and Willow here. Echelon, that's right. Denton, they're recording everything we're doing with Echelon. You need to go look really cool over there. On it, Chief. I'll take my leather jacket. my leather duster. I do want to be careful with these because the plastic seems really thin. I don't know if these have been peroxide treated to get them to shine again, because that weakens the plastic and makes it very brittle. Thank you for the stream. Have a nice day. I'm not done yet. We're putting keys back on for a minute. So eager to leave. You're stuck here with me. I sacrificed. Oop. Good silkscreen markings on this are preventing me from making mistakes about what keys go where. I very much enjoy that these are labeled for idiots. Labeling for idiots is a time-honored practice, and I very much enjoy that they have done this for me. You know, I never finished the later Deus Ex games. Did the second, what was it, Human Revolution? Did the second game ever come to PC, or was it PlayStation only? The first game, I watched the H-Bomber guy video on the modern Deus Exes, and he makes a lot of good points. I maybe should have played the game to see if I agree or not, because there's a lot of stuff in that video that's very interesting to me. Oh, we're missing one. Here it is. I found it. Good thing I found all these keys. You can buy these, but they're kind of expensive for what they are. Now it's the end of stream. Now I'm ending the stream because the rest of my weekend is going to be spent slaving away, soldering individual ones of these. If I was a little bit more professional, probably removing these cables here would have been the better way to do it. I'm just giving you a hard time, lines and squares. It really means nothing. I don't mind if you stay or if you go. I'm cool like that because I'm not a popular enough streamer. So we put in a new knob. We put in all of these keys so that they now function properly. And these were hard to find. I need to do about 75 buttons. Those buttons are kind of important. They're how we access all of the different modes and the different voices that this thing can do. And they're generally, where are they? Where are the buttons? What did I do? Where did they go? They're right here. I got this many buttons to put in. This is a lot. -6. Let's check our science experiment. Let's check on our science experiment real quick and see if we've done anything. Oh, and we replaced the encoder with a new encoder so that this has an encoder. So it can be encoded. So it can encode stuff. I actually need to get a knob that interfaces with this type of shallow encoder-like thing. This is nice and clicky. I mean, the other one felt nice and clicky too. It just wasn't doing its A and B business. But presumably, this thing is a direct replacement with its own little PCB. This little PCB is way more advanced than the big PCB here. It's got plated through holes. I guess advanced and expensive are synonymous. All right, so we are doing ohms. We're looking at our ohms. And then we're going from this pin here to this pin here. These high voltage probes can technically be shoved into perforated prototyping board, which makes a lot of really good test setups a little less painful. Now, I do not have a singular extra one of those buttons because they were a little pricey. I probably should have kept one unsoldered so we could do a direct comparison. That's very unscientific of me, I'm sorry. Where can we pick up? Oh no, the diagram was very confusing. I remember this now. These have a weird way of doing business. But 6 ohms is not terrible. 6 ohms is kind of what I would ascribe to my pins. Laggy meter. My meter's not that laggy. I like my meter. It is getting kind of old though, isn't it? The Fluke 179. I think I saw one other like tech person have the 179. It was like a $300 multimeter, but then China hit the scene with the multimeters, and now you can get like a computerized, super crazy like spectrum analyzer multimeter for like a song and a dance. Loved their ads a long time ago with the slogan, "If it works, it's a fluke." My story, the reason that I like Fluke a lot is because this is, first of all, this is a broken FBI one, right? It was broken. They were throwing it out. I got in there and said, "Man, can I mess with it?" Turns out they just rejected it because it doesn't have a beeper. So that's perfect for me. Thing is, this is no longer that meter. It randomly stopped working. A sunspot hit it or something, like a stray neutron was wandering through our solar system, and it just happened to bump up against the 1 or a 0 on the microcontroller of the fluke meter, and it just went and died, right? So no more multimeter. I went on eBay and I found a fluke 179 that had been in a fire, and it was singed and burnt on all of its stuff. And I bought it, cracked it open, took the circuit board out, put it in this one. I've had this meter for like 5 years since then. More than 5 years. I don't remember, where was I living when I did it? I think I was in Alexandria. So that would be like 6 or 7 years. Yeah, almost 10. This, I mean, it appears that injecting it, literally taking a syringe and filling it with alcohol, as dangerous as having something like this is, actually seemed to refurbish the button in a sense. It may be that you want to do it twice. It's a rescue. It found its forever home. Yeah, it's much more compatible with the type of work I do. I got like a calibrator thing. It's like a little like ancient part that makes like 1,000 volts, and hooked it up to this, and it's off by like a tiny bit, not enough that I really need to go through a calibration procedure. I think it's close enough. So like when I see 4 ohms, when I see 6 ohms, I'm thinking like that's actually just the wires and my multimeter being like ever so slightly off. When it goes to like 0 ohms, I get suspicious because there should be like 1 or 2 at least. So it seems like taking a syringe. I wouldn't suggest you do this, but if you were at an event and you didn't have time to wait for buttons to come in the mail and suddenly your whole shit oxidizes, you could technically go get your friend's heroin syringe, wash it out with some alcohol, and do just a little injection on all the buttons, and then kind of press them a bunch. And that shakes things up enough that you can knock some of that oxidation free and potentially get some life out of it. I'm not going to guarantee that this will last more than a week, if at all. It's a novel solution, and it was definitely cool to try. The thing is, all the other buttons in here, I don't think I could wash these with alcohol. You can push them down and kind of get material through them, but it's not really a cleaning procedure. And like, you would have to break the little plastic tabs to really remove everything and then flush it out. So yeah, it was a really cool experiment. I really appreciate the suggestion very much, because that was cool. A lot of chat's ideas can be kind of inane, and this one was actually novel and interesting and very cool. So I appreciate that very much. So don't stop the ideas coming. I know I can be mean. I try to at least, I try not to be like nasty. I can be a little mean. I try not to be nasty. I don't know when I'm going to be back. I'm going to leave forever. I'm gone. I'm going to the promised lands, far beyond the sea. No, I don't know if I'm going to be back tomorrow or if I'm going to wait until Tuesday. I meant to go a little later today, but I'm at like an impasse right now. You're not at all. Oh, you mean mean? I thought you meant you're not going. You're not going to the promised land. Your soul is filthy. Okay. So I'll be back maybe tomorrow, possibly Sunday and Monday, because I'm going to be just here with Willow, right? I've got a couple things that I'm working on. So if I'm going to happen to be working with like AutoCAD, we can do another hashtag AutoCAD ad, and I can keep my version of the software without difficulty. I have a feeling like someday in the next couple months, I don't know how stable their influencer program is, but I keep expecting to see an email like, hey, we're shutting down the program. You got to pay for your copy now. That's what I keep expecting to see in my mail. But until then, we can do these little hashtag AutoCAD ads and continue that on. Not to mention, I would be using that software anyway. But I would like to make that like free-floating axis for the pick and place, the one that's supposed to resist gravity and the forces of us pushing down on it, in order so that we can stay parallel with the work surface. It doesn't need to be totally precision, but we can also we can also hook up airline stuff and see if we can't get enough vacuum. I know that these things produce enough vacuum. The question is whether or not they can do it within the confines of my own system. The thing that was sent in by a viewer. I just set up a post-processing 3D print script. I feel like a god. I have a couple of those, and the one time I actually delved into the language. Although, what you mean? Just like I delved into the like G code that does the post-processing stuff, and it's nothing special. It's just where to move the nozzle and get it away. And you need some sort of BGM for when you talk about AutoCAD ads. I could get the plucky 1960s song. I think that's out of copyright. The dun 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 dun. Yeah, I should find that. That's a Sark bit though, but it's not really a Sark bit. That's kind of a universal bit. So I think it's okay if I grab his bit. The only other like music bit that I have is in my overlays, and that would be, I need to use this one more, but it's the carry the one, and then I need to cut the song though so that we actually get into the middle of the song when this plays. And I don't know, I think this goes to YouTube, so we'll see if I get a copyright strike from it. But that's the doing math. It didn't turn off. It didn't turn off. It's not turning off. It's not turning off. Why isn't it turning off? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. I gotta, okay, let's just, okay, it's not turning off. It's not, why isn't it turning off? I guess I'll see you guys later.